Tonight's guest is a horror legend who's been creeping it real since 2006. Neal Jones, aka Nasty Neal, is the mastermind behind Without Your Head. Ooh, the longest running horror podcast. He's in his 20th year. Can you imagine? He's also a producer and an actor. Let's see, what has he done? He's done wild flicks, just like Psycho Ape Part 2, The Once and Future Smash, and Our Man Funk. Oh, and he's got Arbor Day brewing up too. Yep, we're talking about the indie horror gold, from podcast chills to film thrills. Neal's all about lifting up the genre. Welcome to the show, Neal Jones.
Hey,
And
thank
there
you for having me.
it is.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you for inviting me. It was great to meet you in person at Dead of Winter.
That was so much fun. It was great. I made a lot of great people there with interesting lives. And how did Sandwich, Massachusetts kid turn into Nasty Neal? And what
Uh,
sparked that horror obsession?
so yeah, I know when Annabelle was on, like her parents weren't like, I don't think they wanted her watching horror movies so much. My mom's the opposite. So single mom, and she would take my older brother to the drive-in. So he's 9 years older, and she would just take me along. So I was like 4 or 5 years old, watching horror movies. And the first one I remember ever seeing is Night of the Living Dead, the original one, is at the drive-in. And the scene where the pickup blows up and the zombies start eating everybody, and I'm getting upset. And my mom turned to me and said, "It's okay, they're just having a barbecue." And then I was totally fine with horror movies after that.
Oh, God bless her, and drive-in movies. What fun.
Yeah, no more drive-ins around here, but it was fun going to the drive-in in the 80s.
Yes, it was. I remember them. Without Your Head kicked off in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
What lit that fire to launch the longest running horror podcast?
So I was doing, which I still do, a wrestling podcast in 2005 called In Your Head. And then we did in October, we did a Halloween special where we talked about horror movies. And I asked my brother, I was like, what do we call this one? And he's like, I don't know, Without Your Head. I was like, okay. And then in 2006, because we had a fun time doing that, we just did it as its own show. And it took off because I like wrestling. I grew up watching wrestling, grew up watching horror movies. And so, yeah, it's just started from there. And that in 2005, I don't think podcast was even a term yet. We called it internet radio. And then 2006 is when like the term podcast started to pop up.
Yes, and everyone, you can share out this podcast and you can catch Nasty Neal's wrestling podcasts. They're out there on YouTube and everywhere that you can go out. You've got Spotify going,
Yeah,
withoutyourhead.com. I was entertained for the last week checking out his stuff. So I'd be ready for our podcast.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm
So,
glad you liked it. I'm glad
yeah,
you didn't cancel the interview. It was like, I don't want to talk to this guy after watching these. So.
we always want to find out more and expand our thinking and what we know about the horror genre. 19 years strong, what is the wildest ride that's been keeping Without Your Head alive all this time?
So when we first started, there was a big horror movie convention in Worcester, actually near the dead of winter, where we met, Rock and Shock. And so the first year, I think it started the year before us, and so the first year when I started Without Your Head, I had asked them about helping out with guests, and we would promote them. And so they set up Betsy Palmer, who's no longer with us, from the original Friday the 13th, and Sid Haig, who also is no longer with us. So I was a little nervous going in talking to Sid Haig. That was our first guest on the show, really big guest, but he was a super nice guy. Not necessarily a wild story, but just a nice guy. So that was it was just a lot of fun. But I think once I started going to the conventions myself, a lot of like very fun experiences, hosting panels, which I used to do a lot. And then I hadn't for about 10 years until the 40th anniversary Toxic Avenger was the first panel I got to host again. So that was a good time.
Woohoo! A nice one to get back in time with.
Yeah, definitely. It was very fun. It was the first I want to talk about this, but it was the first panel I hosted since I stopped drinking. So and actually I was a little nervous going into that. I was like, but it was great. It went very well.
It's even better. You're a nice, healthy man now.
Yes, yes, much healthier, much healthier.
Very, very proud of you, and you guys, you can even listen to YouTubes as you're walking, as Nasty Neal walks and listens to Audible books, and share this out. Share things out that you like so that Nasty Neal can listen to them while he is walking and staying healthy. Pee Potty is
Yeah,
on.
Pepe Poteet, he's one of our, regulars, so
Hi, Peppy. Thank you for joining, and congratulations, Neil, for sure. I'm, like,
oh, thank
in
you,
awe
Pepe.
because living healthy is the most important way to, heck, live a long time so you can do more horror films. Any
Right, yeah.
creepy childhood tale that still haunts you and fuels your horror love?
So since I was watching horror movies, like, from very young, like, a lot of stuff didn't scare me, but a couple things, like, still stand out. Well, the tall man from Phantasm, I always found him very creepy, but the thing that really scared me was, the movie Magic with Anthony Hopkins, but it was the trailer, and he's there with a mannequin. He's not even in it, it's just a mannequin, and it's only, like, 12 seconds long. It does a creepy little, like, rhyme, like a limerick, and then it ends with "and you're dead," and it always really scared me, especially because we had Hugo, which was a mannequin, and my brother then would tease me with that. He's my older brother, and so that's one thing that always stands out to me about horror movies is the trailer for Magic. It's a very specific thing, not so much a movie, but the trailer.
Ooh, ooh.
Oh, the
Oh,
movie's on Tubi. Okay,
yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
How'd you first team up with Troy and Annabelle to make Without Your Head?
Yeah, so Troy's my brother, so he
Oh,
said
okay, okay, good, yes.
so yeah, so that was fun to have Troy on, Without Your Head when we started in 2006. And then Annabelle joined the show. I think it was either 2011 or 2012, and we were talking on Facebook. She had painted a picture of Dieter Laser, a an actor, and I had just had him on the show, and I was like, "Oh, it was great. It was a great painting." And I was like, "Oh, I just interviewed him." And then we started talking, and neither of us. She might have known where I was because I think it's on my Facebook, but she didn't have any information up there. And we found out we're not that far from each other, about an hour away. And at first, we were just talking about silly stuff and horror movies. And then we decided to start meeting up. And we were going to do this show, which we still do, Dinner and a Movie, where we meet, we watch a movie, and then we review it over dinner in Boston somewhere. Uh,
Yeah,
and then I kept trying to get her to come on the podcast, and she was just like, "No, I don't think I want to do that." And then eventually she came on, and she had a great time. And not just did she have fun, and not only like I'm her friend, but she's a great addition to the show. So,
yeah,
and when she joined the show, we started doing it weekly because we used to do it. It wasn't a it wasn't it didn't have like a regular schedule. It was like whenever I would get a cool guest, we would do one. And then we started doing, I think, bi-weekly, then eventually weekly. And
mhm,
so yeah, so like 10 years, or I guess a little bit longer, 13 years, just about every week we do a show. So a lot of guests.
that's awesome, 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 and
It's both.
consistency builds your
Yes,
people,
yeah, definitely.
and if you go back and watch, I had Annabelle on the show a few weeks ago, guys, if you wanna catch up with her because she is amazing. So what was the wildest, flick that you and Annabelle watched, the dinner and a movie or reviewed a
Uh,
movie
yeah,
on?
honestly, I would say Human Centipede 3. That's yeah,
3.
yeah. So the movie that we started talking over was Dieter Laser from Human Centipede. Excuse me. And then we went to the premiere of Human Centipede 3 in LA. Uh and so it was like the cast was there, the director Tom Six, and Akihiro Kitamura is one of the actors in it. And after the movie was over, we asked him what he thought of the movie, and he was just like, "Oh, crazy movie, man." He seemed shell shocked from the movie, but that was a pretty crazy movie, Human Centipede 3.
Patricia is asking, does Nasty like Vincent
Oh,
Price?
of course, yeah, Vincent Price. That's one of my favorites growing up. I still love him today. Annabelle and I actually went to see a Vincent Price double feature during Halloween last year. That
Oh,
was really fun.
fun.
But Dr. Phibes is my favorite Vincent Price movie.
Very fun, and Jake's, has a good horror director for you to check out,
Oh
and
yeah, Dario Argento. I met him a couple times. Once at Texas, and then once in London at Fright Fest.
fun, 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 fun. So you're live at Thursday, 7 p.m. Oh, yes, Eric says Vincent Price is a legend. Hi,
Yeah.
Eric. Live at Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern
At 8
Standard
PM
Time.
Eastern. Yeah.
Oh, 8 p.m. is Without Your Head with Neal Jones and Annabelle
Yeah, Annabelle and Troy, yeah.
and
3 of us.
Troy.
Mhm.
So you can catch that there and share it out and subscribe. And how do you feel about indie filmmakers after all these years?
So that's another thing. Once Annabelle joined, we started to do more. The original shows were more about uh people from like movies I grew up watching, which we still have on today. But when Annabelle joined, we started to do more independent movies, and I think that's important to promote independent film, because they don't always get theatrical releases. So for them to get noticed,
Mhm.
platforms like podcasts. They come on, promote their movies, talk about the movies, and hopefully, if people like us and they think, oh well, if Neal and Annabelle like this movie, maybe I'll go check it out. And they're creative, they're fun, and I just think that's an important thing because not only are the movies themselves good, a lot of the independent directors and actors they go on then to make the bigger movies down the road.
Absolutely. What's the nuttiest, Without Your Head interview you snagged? Any guests that, like,
Yeah,
really threw you?
Mark Borchardt from American Movie, which is a documentary from the 90s. And so when we had him on, so he's known for that, for this documentary. And right before we go live, he told me he doesn't like to talk about that movie.
Oh,
And
great.
yeah.
And
And
you're like,
so
"Oh, there goes all my thoughts."
yeah, it was and nothing against him. He's a nice guy, but like that's what we were gonna talk about. And then to top it off, he goes to a house party, he's on his phone, and then he starts passing his phone around to just his friends at the house party. And so I'm talking to people we don't know, just like friends of his. It was very strange, and but I think people really liked it because it was just very bizarre. And like one of his friends just started interviewing me. He's like, "What is your goals in life?" And it was not what I expected, but it was fun though. It was very strange.
Is that still in the archives for people?
Yeah, yeah, that one's an audio only show, but it's up there.
Very fun. A Severed Limbs Film Festival. How did you spin an online short fest into a community hit?
Yeah, so right when COVID started, one of the things I missed was going to festivals and watching movies together. And when it started, no one knew exactly what was going on, so we didn't know how bad it's going to get and everything like that. And I just thought, well, why don't we get together and do one virtually? And since then, like people started doing, but I'm not gonna say I'm the first, but as far as I know, it was one of the first ones. And so, at the when we first did it, we did it on our community page on Facebook, which they don't allow you to do this anymore. So I just had people, friends of ours, would send in their short films, and we had like hours worth of shorts. We played them in trailers, and the original idea was just to do it one time, but
Mhm.
people really liked it. I enjoyed it, and then so we started to do it quarterly, so for a year, every season of the year, and it's been a lot of fun. So we get people that make a lot of shorts, but we also get people that made shorts specifically for that. So I think it's nice to have a platform for people who want to be creative, but just you never made anything. So they don't have to be. You don't have to put a lot of money in them. You could be any level of experience, just as long as they're fun and creative.
Very fun. It gives you an outlet. And
Yeah.
hello, Kevin. Thank you for saying hi to us. We're glad that you're here. Share
Hello,
this
Kevin.
out. Yes. And how's the horror community shaping Without Your Head's vibe? Any fan movement that sticks out? Like, um, uh, Peppy just says that they found out about this by word of mouth today.
Oh, nice. Yeah, great. So, Pepe, yeah, he's a good guy. So, yeah, that's a big one of the motivating things about doing the show is
Hi,
having a
Shane.
community feel. Hello, Shane. Yeah, it's fun. You get to see the regulars and people all, share the same love of weird horror movies. And so, Severed Limbs is a big part of that, the community. And I don't know if something really stand. Well, some of the movies like Terrifier we had the people on like before they really blew up. And I'm not saying we're the reason it blew up, but we had these people on, and then and then slowly the movie really started to blow up and became this huge deal. And I just think that's cool to see that podcasts in general, they get the word out there about these movies that without that word of mouth, maybe they would just fly under the radar.
And it's fun because you get to meet them and let other people know them.
Yeah, it's a big, it's fun part of the show. And I have to stop saying one thing. Sometimes I say in the show, I'll say like, I really like this movie, and not just because you're here. And then sometimes I won't say that, or I'll say, and I really mean that, or something. And sometimes people will pick up. They're like, wait a minute, he didn't. Maybe he's just really being nice. And if he doesn't say, I really mean that. I'm not just saying that. So I
Oh,
need to stop saying that, because
you don't you
I
you
can't say I
do.
don't
You
like a
just be
movie.
you. You're doing great. You just be
Right,
you.
right, right.
You just be you.
Yeah,
Let them be them, and it will all work out.
yeah.
From podcast to producer, how do you leap into films like the once and future smash?
So off air, we're talking. So I got healthier like 5 years ago. Also, the
So
20th is
good.
2 days
So
from today.
good.
Will be 5 years and 5 years and 2 days will be the last time I drank. So
Woohoo! We're
and so I
proud of
got
you.
really sick. I had
Oh,
to get part of my colon and intestines removed.
yikes.
Uh, it was a very bad experience, followed by a lot of complications and near-death experiences. And from there, so I started to get healthier. I stopped drinking. I started walking every day. Reversed. I was diabetic. I reversed that. I don't take medication. I'm not considered even pre-diabetic anymore. And
Mm,
so one of the things from when I had that surgery is it resulted in I would not have a belly button. So I really don't have a bely button anymore.
you
That's
gotta
not
go
just
see that podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It took me 20 minutes to figure out if that was him or not, actually. I
yeah.
have to admit it. And
Oh,
there's
I
John.
like that he likes both
Hi,
hats.
John.
Yes, yeah,
Woohoo! Thank you. We're
yeah.
having fun here.
Cynthia
Learning
wore a
about
hat
cooking.
specifically for me on the show today, which I thought was very fun. Yeah, and then I showed up without a hat, so I put one on.
Yeah,
So
we
what?
always try to do something special for our guests.
Yeah. So my friend Michael was like, "Well, let's make a documentary about about not having a belly button," and I was just like, I thought he meant like a straight documentary at first. I was like, okay, whatever. And so he's a filmmaker, him and Sophia Cassiola, and we were meeting at Boston Underground Film Festival. And then when he explained what he meant, it's play it very straight, but uh it's not exactly on the up and up, the documentary about the loss of my belly button. And so that was the first like movie thing I was involved in. And so we made that short, Umbilicus Desidero. And it's not scripted. It's all ad lib, my dialogue, a couple of the other people's scripted. And so I thought that went really well. It played a lot of festivals, and it won awards. It's funny because it was up for both best documentary at some award at some festivals and funniest at others. So I'm not sure if everyone realizes it's comedy. I think some people think it's just a straight documentary, but either way, it's fun.
You won
And
some documentary ones there. I saw that. Yeah.
so then from there, I made the movie, the feature film, the Once and Future Smash, with the same people, Michael and Sophia. And so me and Michael were talking one day. I had a couple guests on the show who they both take credit for playing a slasher in a film, and they don't like each other, even though I like both of them. And me and Mike were like, that's a good like idea for a movie where it's like two people who both take credit for the same role.
Huh.
And then they get booked together 50 years later at a convention. And we're like, we would need an actual convention, to let us do this. And so I was like, well, I know my friend Eben, who runs Mad Monster, maybe he'd let us do it. So I asked him, and he was like, if anyone else asked me, Neal, like, no, but anything for you, you can come and film at our festival, at our convention.
Aw.
And you can even do a fake panel where we had people from like this movie that's not real, and 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 I'm up on stage, like I'm like we're hosting a panel in front of a real audience. because they were still there from the previous panel. So
Did they
we
know it wasn't real?
uh yeah, because I think we had to tell them so they could sign off on it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, so that's how that happened. And then so we filmed that because then you only have 3 days at the convention. And you can't like make people stay, you know, and you know, you can't be like, we need extra time. So that was really hectic to film the majority of the movie in 3 days at an actual convention where other people are there, you know, trying to sell autographs. So we can't get in their way. And you have real people walking around. It's very noisy. So it was a very hectic shoot, but it worked out. And then 2 weeks later, everything closed down for COVID. And
Mhm.
so our original plan was to go to a couple other conventions and film some more. So I got some of my horror movie friends to play themselves in this movie, and they talk about this fake movie being real and how it like influenced their real movie. And I wasn't even sure people would agree to that. I'd be like, "Do you want to do?" And I thought everyone would say no, but a lot of people said yes, and that made me feel really good because they just trusted me. And so I was like, "Oh, well," you know, it made me realize that, like, I built up,
A family.
trust that yeah, the people, like, liked me and trusted me. So
You're
so
really
that
telling
was a
your
nice
story.
feeling. And
That's fabulous.
so it's 2 movies that play together. It's the Once and Future Smash, which is the mockumentary, and
Uh-huh.
then we actually made End Zone 2, which is the supposed 1970, horror movie. So what we did was we filmed that, and then we billed it as an actual 1970 film that we found and restored.
Mhm.
And some of the original reviews actually did think it was a 1970 film. And so that won't show up on my IMDb because everyone involved agreed to use fake names. So there's a fake IMDb page. Well, it's a real IMDb page, but it's got all fake names on there. So that's a
Oh,
very
that's
long
moved.
answer. But yeah,
What
so I
fun.
have this is the limited edition VHS tape of End Zone 2 right here. I
Oh,
think
hold
it
it up
might be
close so
sold
everyone
out.
can see it. Is that out in the world?
Yeah, I think it's either sold out or only a couple there might be a few left, I'm not sure. But
What fun.
it's
What
also
else
on
do you have
Blu-ray.
back there? It looks like you got some good little goodies.
Yeah, so yeah, we got I got some awards here
Well,
which
tell
is
us.
cool. We got this was from my short film. This was Sean O'Shea Film Festival, which is a local film festival in Boston.
Nice.
For the best short documentary from Umbilicus Desidero. This is a really nice one. This is the Anti-Hero Genre Fest Best Documentary Umbilicus Desidero. This one was in LA, I believe. It's
Oh,
like
he's
a
cute.
golden zombie. This one is from Texas Underground Film Festival, which was it's a really weird one, but I like it. And this one here, we also have some more for Once and Future Smash, but a lot of those are with Michael and Sophia. But this one is Genre Blast, the Forever Award. So that's like their main award they give out
Oh, that's a cool one.
for the movie that embodies independent film. And so that was really wild to win. Very
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 nice.
proud of that one. I'm
Hi,
very
Johnny.
proud of all of them.
Thanks for being here. Share it out.
Yeah. Hello, Johnny.
That is very fun. Peppy said, "Don't forget about the custom prop hats." Hatchets?
Hatchet. Yeah, so he actually so another thing we didn't do it this last year because we weren't around too much, but we do that's a good community thing is we do secret Satan. It's kind of like our secret Santa, but secret Satan. And so it has nothing to do with Satan. It sounded good. People send in Christmas presents, and then I'd wrap them up, and then I would send them back out to everybody, but different people. So it was like a secret Santa gift exchange, but just for our community. But
Okay.
also, unfortunately, shipping prices have gone up so high, so it's a little harder to do now.
Oh, but it's still fun. Don't
Yeah, it's
stop
very
it.
fun.
Don't stop it.
It's a very fun thing. And one of those was so we always say it doesn't have to be anything expensive. And
Right.
Pepe actually made his own hatchets out of balsa wood, I believe, and I got those, so I have them around here somewhere. So, but I got Pepe's custom prop hatchets that he made for Secret Satan.
How creative. I love it. I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your belly button?
I do not. I do not have a belly button. So I really do not have a belly button after the surgery to remove. And well, I had surgery to remove my part of my intestine and colon, and then I had to. So when I woke up from emergency surgery, I actually had a colostomy bag because it was emergency surgery to save my life. My colon had perforated, and I was becoming toxic. As just filling up with. And so they did emergency surgery, remove part of that. Then I was lucky a few months down the road, I had reversal surgery, which reconnected me in the inside. Uh,
Thank
and
God
then,
for modern medicine.
yeah. And so then
Doctors.
there was a lot of complications from that over the years from that. Like I bled out a few times. And then I was in physical rehab. Um, and then a few years later, when my left side was weaker, so I had to learn to walk, almost like if you have I had to learn to walk. I mean, I could walk, but I was weaker on the one side, so I had to learn to walk like normal and things like that. And then I had multiple hernias, and one was like blocking my I had like a blockage. It was very bad. So for that one, they what they said was they sliced my stomach muscle out like an Asian fan, and then they put cow tissue over that absorbed into my body. And through all that stuff, because of it was intensive surgery, I would not have a belly button anymore. So I'm alive, but I don't have a belly button. I don't miss the belly button. So it's better to be alive and healthy than have a belly button.
Absolutely. And you got to go watch that because you won't believe that this healthy gentleman sitting in front of us, Nasty Neal, went through all that nasty stuff.
It was very nasty, yes.
Very nasty.
Yeah.
So we're so glad that you're
Yeah.
here now.
And shout out former guest here, Annabelle, because she drove 2 hours when I was in the hospital, just about every day, and would come down and stay with me while I was in intensive care. So that was
That's a
very nice.
good friend. So sweet, Annabelle, and a very great artist too. She sent
amazing.
some of her artwork on my podcast a few weeks ago. If you want to catch that, Annabelle Lecter. She's I forget what number is 60 maybe. Podcast 60 for me.
Oh no, yeah. So yeah, it's probably
check her out.
Probably something like that. Yeah, and her art will be in Arbor Day, the upcoming film Arbor.
Yes, Arbor Day. So how's that evil tree horror with Annabelle growing, and what is your role as Steve?
Yeah, so actually, when we first started talking, even before we met, we were talking about like silly movie ideas that we would like to make together. And I recently went back and I searched our messages, and I found when I first brought up Arbor Day to Annabelle was 2012. I was like, I think we should make this movie Arbor Day. And so we talked about the time, and then, time went on. We never made it. And since I've been involved in movies and doing stuff, I was like, I would like to, make Arbor Day. And originally we are going to just make it a short film with me, Annabelle, my brother, and a couple of my friends here locally. And then my brother retired last year, and so he started making props, and they're really cool. And so they inspired me to write more stuff. So the story kept growing, the mythology kept growing. And then other friends like Michael said he'd come out and shoot the movie, and he'd bring like his equipment. So it wouldn't just be a fun little thing I did on my camcorder. He'd have like the 4K camera. And then some of my horror friends, like, they wanted to be involved and would do voices. Like Dan Yeager played Texas, and he was Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 3D. So this started to grow. And then some other people I know in the movie world, they're like, well, if you have people involved and you have like, if you actually have the story and you're all going to get together anyway, you should make a feature film instead of a short film, because then you could do more with it. And so I was like, well, I guess so. So the plan now is we're going to be launching the crowdfunder soon to hopefully raise the money to make it. We're going to have we're aiming for a low budget film, and then film it in the fall after the summer, because where I live on Cape Cod, and it's very busy in the summer with tourists. So it's best to either make it in the spring or the fall. So we're going to make it after the summer and the fall. That's the plan. and
Oh,
Steve is the lead of the movie. So yeah, I wrote myself as the lead of the film.
of course.
Right, and I wrote Annabelle as the villain of the movie.
Okay, Annabelle. We can't wait to see that one. And if you need other people, I know a whole lot of actors and actresses in your area.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, yeah. So it's us and then some friends. Yeah, I don't know. It's become a lot bigger thing than I imagined it would be, but it's very exciting. And it
That
was
is
really I
so
had wrote a lot of the jokes for the horror people in the Once and Future Smash, but this is the first actual like script I've written myself. And so going in, I was like, I had like ideas. This is how I originally wrote it. When I'm walking, I would think of scenes, and then I'd either take notes, but what I did was I would act out the scenes, all the characters, and I'd just record the audio, and then so I have all these like audio files, and so I'm going through them and writing them down. And as I started writing it, I was like, I really had fun, creating the whole mythology of the movie. I had fun writing the dialogue, and at the same time, I was like, I think this fun is funny, but I don't know, maybe it's terrible. I don't know. And so then we started having meetings with Annabelle and Troy, and we'd read over the script, and they all thought everything was really funny, which I was like, oh, maybe people like it, and other people I shared it with think it's really funny. So hopefully everyone finds it funny. I don't know, but
I can't
it's a nice experience.
wait. Peter
It's been
Scott,
a really rewarding experience to write it.
just shout out to April Brucker.
I'm not sure that is, but all right, cool.
Okay, well,
Hello, Peter Sky Parker.
and let's see, someone else was Ryan Paul was very interested in the Hellraiser configuration in the background.
Yeah, this was sent to me by a listener of the show. It does not actually move though, so I can't open it, which is probably a good thing because we don't want anything to come out of this box. But it is pretty cool.
Ooh,
It's pretty
no.
heavy. This
How,
is
and
this is
how observant of you,
art
Ryan.
by Annabelle. Annabelle did that for either my birthday or Christmas one year.
She's amazing. What fun. Psycho 8 Part 2. How do you juggle producing and playing Jibs the Clown in that 2024 madness?
Yeah, so that was by my friend Greg Delicio and Addison Benek. And so the first movie is really fun, Psycho 8. And they asked me if I would produce Psycho 8 2. And so I was like, all right. So I was helping while they were putting the movie together. And then Annabelle and I flew out, and we were on set for almost the whole movie, except for I think we missed the last 2 days because we had to fly back. But at the time, I didn't know I would be in it. I knew I was producing and helping out. And so I play Jibs the Clown. What happened was originally it was like a bunch of henchmen and they're all going to wear ape masks, and they ran out of ape masks, but they had a clown suit. And so I put on a clown suit and a clown nose, and I became Jibs the Clown. So that's how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit in at all, but it's pretty funny. And I actually Annabelle and I were at Boston Underground Film Festival this weekend, and I noticed I had the clown nose in my luggage. I must have
Oh,
taken it with me. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Our man Funk, what's cooking with this 2025 pre-production flick you're producing? Huh?
Yeah, excuse me. So, I believe that's shooting next month. So,
Ooh, tell us more. Tell us more.
so Bill Wheaton, who is one of the leads in the Once and Future Smash, my first feature film, and he's also one of the leads in Psycho 8. This is like his passion project. So, it's a movie he's been wanting to make for a long time, and it's like a vigilante film where he's an older guy, and he wants to clean up the streets, so he goes and he fights the punks.
Oh, sounds familiar.
Yeah. And Bill Wheaton is he got his start in Trauma. He's been in a lot of Trauma movies. So he was in Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, and he's been in the last I think the last two Lloyd Kaufman movies.
Mm-hmm.
So like yourself has a tie to Trauma. I believe Lloyd's in this movie too. He's going to be in Our Man Funk. And so Our Man Funk for a while, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen with it. But then my friend AJ Cutler took over as director, and things really started to come together. So I believe it's going to be filming next month. I
Ooh,
play the mob boss. Originally, they had asked me to play one of the punks in the movie, and
uh-huh.
the scenes were a little too graphic for me. I have no problem with them, but I didn't necessarily want to be in them. But so instead, I'm going to play the mob boss, which I think I'm better at anyway. I think I'm more fitting for that role.
And where's that shooting?
In Boston, in Boston,
Very fun.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
Very fun.
Yeah, I'm producing that, and we'll be in it.
So what's the trickiest part of juggling podcasting, producing, and acting, having a cold?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I got a little bit of a cold at Buff. So excuse me. I'm sorry. The finding time to do everything. That is the hardest part, I would say. Because I also walk every day, so I can't like not do that. So just finding the time. I'd love to interview even more people. I'd love to be involved in more movies and stuff, but I realize there's only so much time in a day, so I really need to focus on getting Arbor Day together and doing our weekly show.
So how do you start your day?
Uh,
What's a typical
uh,
day for you?
when I get up, I make coffee. I always when I change my diet, so I started drinking my coffee black, which took a little while to get used to,
Mhm.
but now if I have coffee with anything in it, I was like, oh, this isn't good. I just like
Tastes like dessert.
yeah. It's funny because my grandmother always drank coffee black, and I remember her saying if I would get her flavored coffee, or she would always say it doesn't taste like coffee, and I never knew what she meant, but now I totally know what she means, because now if I'm kind of a coffee snob, it has to be like pretty like good brand coffee, or else it's not very good, and it can't have anything in. The only thing I put in every once in a while is I put a cinnamon stick and half a cinnamon stick.
Mhm.
It naturally flavors the coffee. That I like that. So coffee is a big part. It's one of my few vices. So I don't do a lot of stuff. I don't drink alcohol, but I couldn't give up coffee. I really like coffee, so I drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. So yeah, I get up, drink coffee. Uh, if we have, sometimes I'll do interviews. What they call press interviews. But usually, yeah, it's coffee, setting up interviews, getting stuff together for Arbor Day, and then going for my walk. And even on my walk, I'm either listening to audiobooks or I'm planning stuff out for the movie or the show. So it's a lot of it's focused around all Without Your Head productions, the movies, and the podcast.
Yeah, that's a lot to manage. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Yesterday, Annabelle and I watched some movies together on StreamYard. We did the share screen so we could watch them together. It was fun.
Oh, sweet. That's clever. 19 years of horror news. What's the weirdest trend you're seeing in the genre now?
Well, it's interesting that a much more graphic movies get released at the theater. Like Terrifier 2 was so big and very, very graphic. I don't know if that would have got released years ago at the theater without being like really cut down.
Mhm.
And it did really well, which I do think led to more independent films getting released at the theater. And then even big movies like The Substance with Demi Moore is a really graphic movie, and years ago maybe it would be something you wouldn't think she would have been involved in, even though it is also a really good movie too, but it is very graphic. And uh and that got a theatrical release, and then it was up for Oscars, which I didn't expect. So I just think horror movies all around there, being more graphic is more acceptable, and theatrically released, and also they're getting recognized more. There were several horror movies up for Oscars this year,
Yeah.
and it seems besides like the big like Marvel movies, that horror movies play really well at the theater. Even not too many, like a drama that costs like under 10 million doesn't really get released, but horror movies do. So it just seems like they're more accepted today.
Any indie horror gem you discovered lately that we should watch?
That's a good question. Um well, we were at Boston Underground Film Festival, so it was all independent movies for the most part. And there's it's a foreign movie that will be coming out soon, The Ugly Stepsister, and it's like a horror retelling of Cinderella, but told through the one of the ugly stepsister characters.
Oh,
It
that's
was
lovely.
great. Another graphic movie, but it was a really smart movie, really well made, and some very graphic scenes. Apparently, people threw up. It played at Cannes. I think the premiere was at Cannes, and I guess people people got sick during it because there's some very graphic scenes in it.
Wow. My goodness.
But yeah, it was good though. It was besides not even there's gross stuff, but besides that, it's a good movie too.
Terrible Troy thinks that sounds good.
Yeah, Troy, I think you would really like it. That's my brother there.
Put it on your list. Yeah, I talked to you while you were there.
Yeah.
I was on your podcast going, hey, um, your dream without your head guest, living or fictional? Who would
Well,
it be and why?
yeah. Well, Vincent Price would probably be up. Vincent
Yeah,
Price.
that's a good one. Yeah. Alfred
Vincent.
Hitchcock?
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock. That would be amazing. I'm a huge fan of Psycho. Actually, Annabelle did a really nice Psycho painting. I don't think I have it down here. One year for my birthday, Anthony.
And you've got a big birthday coming up.
Yeah, 50th anniversary, 50th birthday in 11 months in next February. So everyone out there, you can start buying me gifts now and save them for next year. Would be fun.
Or just subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Yeah, there you go. That doesn't cost you anything. That's free to do that.
And he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, for a living though. But honestly, anyone from Universal, because I grew up loving the Universal monster movies, so Boris Karloff would be another huge one.
Yes.
It was really cool. We had Sarah Karloff on the show, his daughter.
You did?
Yeah, I'd met her in Boston, and then she was there. They were showing like they didn't show Frankenstein, but they showed Boris Karloff like him on like on different TV shows and stuff. So it was like stuff you didn't really see a lot. So that was really cool. And then she was super.
Is that around someplace?
The video interview with Sarah Karloff is on our website. It's on the archive.
When was that ish?
I think it was last year, early last year.
Cool.
She was great. She was a really cool interview. Just telling stories growing up with Boris Karloff as their father, and a lot of stories I never heard of him before, so that was cool. But for living, who would be a dream guest? Maybe John Carpenter. That would be cool.
Oh, John Carpenter. Yeah, you said that before. You must really like him. Why do you like him so much?
Well, I love The Thing. I mean, Halloween's great, but I love The Thing. I think that's probably one of my favorite horror movies. I was thinking to say modern horror movie, but it's like 30 years old. So I don't know if that's necessarily, or 40 years old. So I guess it's not necessarily modern, but it's I don't know. I think that's a great. It's the best of both worlds. It looks all the monsters are awesome in it. Plus, it's really well made. It's well acted. So yeah, I think John Carpenter would be one of the for a living person. Stephen King, that's a good one too, Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King, yeah. The last 5 years, I've read a lot of Stephen King books. So yeah, Stephen King would be a great guest.
Yes, I think you said Stephen King's one of your favorite podcasts or audibles to listen to.
Yeah, I love to listen to Stephen King books. Actually, right during I never read The Stand, and it's so long. It's like even the audiobook I think is like 40 hours. Ooh. And so I was like, oh, this was during the pandemic, and I was like, oh, I probably have the time now. So I start listening to Stand, and it starts off, this virus is spreading and everyone's dying. And I was like, I don't want to listen to this right now. So I stopped listening to it. And then I listened to it when things started to get a little more normal.
Yeah, a little too close to home.
I was like, oh, this is probably not good for me to read right now.
They're forecasting. Oh my goodness. What's next? More films like Solvent, podcast twist, or a wild new horror idea?
Yeah, so Arbor Day will be coming up.
In the fall.
We have some ideas for other horror movies after that, but we got to stay focused on the one. And Annabelle yells at me sometimes because I'll be like, oh, I'm going to I have like 3 movie ideas, but she's like, you can't write 3 movies at the same time. You have to finish the one. I was like, yeah, that's
Oh,
true. But
she's great keeping you on point. I love it.
yes, yes.
So what are her directions for you for, like, does she do it daily, weekly? What's
Yeah, so we really stay on track when we do we do these video meetings, and it keeps everyone motivated. Me, Troy, and Annabelle, because everyone's really wanted to make it like the Without Your Head movie, where it's all our movie. So I wrote the script. Troy and Annabelle gives ideas. Troy has done the props. Annabelle is making a lot of the art for the movie. We're all going to be in it, and I just think I just like the idea that it's something that we all do together, the 3 of us.
and what does mom think?
Oh, we need to get my mom in the movie somehow, because
Yeah,
she's a
so
big
exciting.
horror fan. She loves movies, but she does love horror. So her friend Linda that she grew up with, and Linda's kids are like, so Linda's youngest son is my age, and her oldest son is Troy's age. So we all grew up together,
Yeah.
and
When to the drive-in.
yeah, and so and then after Linda's husband passed away a few years ago, her and my mom go out a lot again, and so they'll go to the movies, and Linda will want to go see like Wicked or whatever, and then my mom will pick like these, like Terrifier 3, and I always tell her, like, I don't think that's like really a movie you should go see with Linda, but she'll take her to these crazy horror movies, but Linda's more like normal, like a normal person taste. But I think it's funny that they go and see these insane horror movies at the same time.
Well, that's good since your mom took you to the horror movie.
Exactly.
How old
Yeah,
were you?
I want to get her on the show sometime on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Moms love that.
Yeah, I think it would be fun, and people could see what who made Terrible Troy and Nasty Neal.
Yeah. A dream horror monster to unleash. What would it look like? What's its nasty
A
story?
demonic tree in Arbor Day, apparently, since that's going to be the monster in the movie we're making.
What movies do you go see currently?
I actually go see. I don't just go see horror movies. I do try to. I watch just about everything. Uh, so I think this weekend though there's some horror movies coming out. But last weekend we went to Boston Underground Film Festival and saw it was mostly horror movies, but a lot of weird movies. The new Nicolas Cage movie, The Surfer, I think it comes out in May, but we get to see the premiere of it. It's
Mm,
not a horror movie, but it was really cool. I liked it a lot. And also, cool thing about festivals is you see short films, and you probably that's probably your only chance to see a short film on a big screen with an audience.
mm-hmm. Do you enter into a lot of the film festivals?
Yeah, so my short we did, and then my feature film that I made with Michael and Sophia, the Once and Future Smash and End Zone 2, we premiered at Fright Fest in London, which that was really wild for me. That was my first movie, and our premiere was in London. So, I went out for that, and it was played at the Prince Charles Theater
Ooh,
in Leicester Square, which is it's like a historic theater. That was really cool. And then the U.S. premiere was at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And
ooh, that's
honestly,
cool.
that was one of the best experiences I had. And a lot of the since a lot of the people lived out there, a lot of the stars of the movie who came out, Annabelle flew out. That was a really great experience. Was watching my movie with everybody. It was very proud. I had tons of pictures. Yeah, it was a great experience.
How long were you there for?
Um, for that one, I think 5 days. I think yeah. Annabelle came out I think for 3 days, and I think I was there for 5 days.
And
But
where'd you stay?
I stayed with my friend Michael and Sophia. So when we make when we make movies or whatever, I bum a place to stay with them. And then when Annabelle came out, she actually rented a place like it was literally right down around the corner. And then she's like, "Why don't you just come over here?" And so I stayed with Annabelle when she came over.
Oh, sweet. That sounds great. And what about London? How long were you over there? That sounds
So
like a great time.
I was at Fright Fest twice. The first time was as press, and that one I stayed longer. This last time I only stayed for 3 or 4 days, but I really wish I'd stayed longer.
Mhm.
Even after the festival's over, I wish I had stayed so I could see London more. Because when you're there for the festival, you don't see the, you're not you mostly see in the festival, which is
Okay.
cool, but I wish I would've stayed there longer to see some others. So the first time I went, I was, drinking a lot then, so I saw a lot of pubs, which was fun, honestly. We went to some cool pubs, but this last time I wasn't drinking anymore, so I didn't go to pubs. But I would have liked to seen some, just go around and see sights in London that I had not seen.
I
London's really nice, so I like London a lot.
I usually try to book, like, a day or 2 on either end so I can go see.
Yeah, yeah, that's what Annabelle and I usually do when we go to places because that's a big part is just going around and
Yeah.
getting local food. It doesn't have to be expensive food, but we always like to eat somewhere that you can't eat at home, not go to Applebee's or something like that, go to someplace local. It
Yeah.
can just be, anything that's local.
Yep, you gotta see the Tower of
Yeah, I've
London,
not seen
people,
I've been there twice, but I've not seen the Tower of London.
next time.
Yeah.
And Ryan Paul says, "Hobo with a Shotgun" is a good independent movie.
That is good. That came out, quite a while ago, but, it is good. That is a good movie.
Where would you like to go next as a either
Well, so yeah, it's funny. A lot of people were inviting us to Montreal when we were at Buff at Boston Underground Film Festival for Fantasia Fest. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe Annabelle and I will go to Montreal for Fantasia Fest.
one day I will be the Raven Master there. Terrible choice.
At the Tower of London. All right.
Woohoo. Have you traveled more than London
Yeah,
and
yeah. So yeah, we've been to we Annabelle and I have been to a lot of different conventions and festivals, and I've gone myself to. So I've been out to LA a few times. Once to make when we filmed End Zone 2, I flew out to LA for I think 10 days or maybe 2 weeks to do that movie. And again, I stayed with Michael and Sophia. And then we went out there for Psych Wave 2. I don't know, we've been all around. But Texas. I've only been out of the country a few times, so London twice and Canada once.
okay, and where would you like to go in the whole wide world?
Hmm. Oh, I honestly, right now, I think I'd like to go back to England and see more of England.
Sounds
I did
good.
have a good
Put
time
it
there.
on your list.
Yeah.
So, what kind of advice do you have for new filmmakers coming out?
Uh, do it because you can think about, oh, I want to make this and whatever. But if you don't actually do it, it's just in your head and it doesn't go anywhere. And also, I think people you get worked up thinking, oh, I need, the best camera. I need all this equipment. And obviously that would be great. But if you don't have all that and you just keep trying to get everything you could possibly get, odds are you're just never going to get there. You know what I'm saying? But make something with what you have. So if you have, you can really make a movie with your phone if you wanted to, but
Mhm.
or you could find other local people in your area that also make stuff. Go to a festival because you'll meet other filmmakers and then you could collaborate. You'd be like, oh, well, this person's good at X and Y, and I want to try this. And so you guys can work together. And I also think that's a good way to get involved in the independent film. It's also good to be on set. Then you get to, you can learn like some basic stuff, see how things work. You might meet other actors that you like, and like, oh, I would like them to be on my movie. You meet someone who's a good cinematographer, and like, oh, maybe they'll work with me on this. So I would say get involved on independent films, festivals, and just try to do it. Because if you just sit at home thinking like, oh, it'd be cool if I did this, it's probably just, it'll just be in your head. But you got to get out there and make it.
Without Your Head, his podcast. So, do you look for people, what kind of people do you look for to be on your podcast?
So either people like from so right now, I we've been starting to look like it's at the 10th, the 20th, the 30th, 40th anniversary movie. So movies I grew up watching is fun. but also a lot of independent
Mhm.
people. So like upcoming, we got a lot of people from Boston Underground Film Festival, stuff that stood out to us from there. Or if we happen to see something that was either fun or interesting, it's like, oh, that would be fun to talk about. So it could be, anybody. It could be someone new, like independent, or it could be like an old movie that I grew up watching, and it would be fun to find someone from and talk to.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah,
Tell people
exactly.
how they can reach out to you.
So yeah, you can email withoutyourhead@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Neal Jones on Facebook. So either of those are probably the best ways. I'm on all the social medias, but those are probably the two best ways to contact me, either on Facebook or withoutyourhead@gmail.com. And I'll reply.
And he'll reply.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we also
Okay.
play horror music on the show, so any kind of guest is fun.
What is your dream thing to do in life now?
Get Arbor Day made. Get Arbor Day made and then play it at I would love to travel around with it at festivals.
That sounds like, you should do it.
Yeah.
It sounds like Abigail's already on the list. Annabelle.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing for that first? So now you need money, right? Everyone
Right. Yeah.
needs money.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you need
so we actually Annabelle's been working on the campaign. So it's basically all set up. We've got all kinds of fun perks. So we're going to try to get that launched very soon. And then from there, we're going to start breaking down the script with Michael, who has more, Michael Epstein, who has more experience. Um, so I did think about this stuff while writing it. I was like, I live by the woods, so the movie takes place primarily in the woods, things like that.
smart.
So yeah, and then break down the script, figure out how to shoot certain like any kind of the effect stuff, and then find out when everyone's available. So if we need that was also when I was writing it. I was originally like, that's why I'm in it a lot, because I knew I'd be here, and my brother's in it a lot because I knew he'd be here, and Annabelle because she was going to come down, and then some people I knew locally. So yeah, so primarily though the big thing is hopefully to get some money to make it, and then film it, and then after that comes I have some people that are going to help out edit the movie. There's a lot of things involved.
There's a lot involved, and I see you have a
Yeah.
T-shirt on Amazon for it. Is that
Yeah, I'm actually wearing it right now. So yeah, if you
Look how
buy
big it is. Show that up. Get a close up of that. Let's see.
yeah, so this is 8-bit, like an old Nintendo
Yeah.
graphics. That's something I taught myself how to make during the pandemic, was make 8-bit art.
Jake says, "I'm in."
Very
It's on
cool.
Amazon, Jake. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can look that up on look up Arbor Day on Amazon, and the money for the shirt will help. Goes into the movie. Plus, it just looks cool. It's fun to wear.
It's fun. It looks cute on you too.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So yeah, I've done some of these for a lot of indie films. And again, if people want any 8-bit art, you can email me and I'll make you something. And I don't charge a lot for it.
Okay. Woohoo! Another hidden gem here. Heck yeah. Yeah. Any closing remarks you got for our audience?
Oh, well, yeah, subscribe to Without Your Head, but watch independent films, subscribe here to the Cynthia Manion Show, and
Woo!
you're always very upbeat, which I appreciate. I think that's good. You have to enjoy. Everyone should enjoy themselves while we're here, and honestly, staying positive does help your mental well-being.
Absolutely. And staying healthy, eating healthy, getting your sleep. How about your water? You got
Yeah,
coffee?
I drink a lot during the day, so I don't just drink coffee, but I actually have water here. So I almost basically just drink black coffee and tea, water, and unsweetened seltzer.
Excellent. Excellent. Practical effects forever. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No CG. We don't want the CG, and
Not at
definitely
all.
don't want AI.
So we'll take a big breath and we'll end with our chant because you are amazing.
You are amazing.
I am
I'm
amazing.
amazing.
We're
We're
amazing.
amazing.
Have an
Hey.
amazing day, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, night. Share this out. and tell your friends. Love you. Bye.